the Meteor FR9 is probably the worst event vehicle to ever come out of this game. There's nothing really special about it, and it's just mid overall. And I went through the pain of playing it to rate it for you guys. This vehicle has a top speed of 962 kilometers per hour at 100 meters in altitude. Compared to other vehicles at 8.0, this is actually quite slow. But you are not the slowest because things like the Vampire exist. And there's a pretty big gap between them, so I'm going to put it at a speed rating of 6 out of 10. Moving over to agility, this vehicle can dogfight, although it gets beaten by a lot of aircraft in its BR. And this vehicle does really compress at high speed and low speed. So it's not really the best, but it's not really the worst either, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for agility. As far as offensive armament, you do get 4 20mm Hispano cannons. There is a high volume of fire here, and they are 20mm, but it doesn't take away from the fact that these cannons are actually quite slow, and they kind of just pepper. They don't really do too much damage. But for an added benefit, you do get 780 rounds. Overall, its offensive armament is nothing really standout, but it's not bad, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. As for its cast ability, you do have the ability to ground pound with 8 AR rockets, which are SAP HE. And you also have your 20mm that are quite effective at taking out light targets. But I hate to break it to you, but the AR rockets are some of the worst rockets in the game that I have ever used. And when you can face vehicles like the Saab 105, this vehicle is way overshadowed. So for its cast ability, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Moving over to durability, this vehicle is decently durable for this BR. Your large wingspan will compensate for any damage to the wings, and your engines are quite resilient. But of course, like any vehicle, there is one major weakness, and in this case, it's its tail, because this Meteor uses its tail to kind of steer. Any damage basically ruins your flight performance because you just can't turn. So for durability, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. As for difficulty, this vehicle is quite easy to learn because it's basically like any other vehicle in this BR bracket. There's nothing really special about it. I mean, the hardest part about this vehicle is using its 20mm because they are quite slow. So with 10 being the easiest, I'm going to give this thing a 7 out of 10. Moving over to the fun value, I necessarily didn't really have fun in this vehicle, especially because it's really bad in ground and that's what I play the most. But in air, it's not bad, it's just mid. You're going to get beat out a lot, but you can still beat some enemies. But there's just nothing special about this vehicle that just makes it inherently fun, so for the fun value, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. Moving over to the worth section, it is an event vehicle, so it is kind of a rare vehicle, but on the downside, it is a rank 5 jet and it's not premium, so it's not really going to get you an entire tech tree. In addition, there's nothing special about it, so there's nothing really to go for it. You can just get the tech tree version for free. So for its worth value, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, which gives this vehicle an overall score of 39 out of 80, and when standardized, it's a 49 out of 100. This gives it a C score on my grading scale.